Ms. Bellamy, I appreciate you coming up, and I thank you for your comments. It is the first time someone has finally put something before this board and directly asked for relief, so that is helpful. Maybe it's just me. I always liked, and I'm kind of a stickler for this board having all the information before it makes a decision.
Absolutely.
And I think you mentioned a committee, and I assume you're saying that committee would be willing to give us all the information on Mr. Lindner, because just to be very honest, this board has nothing. Everything is probably true. If I know my history, and I think I do pretty well, that maybe a lot of the statements being said about this may be true. I don't think anyone on this board, including myself, is going to debate or say anything about the KKK being good for this village, being good for this village's past. We all believe it's abhorrent and would not be in favor of it. That being said, there has been nothing presented to this board that lays out who Paul Lindner was. Not one thing.
So the students...
If you let me get there.
Go ahead.
And I'm glad you brought it up, because my proudest day of mayor, I've been mayor almost 2.5 years, was the day those students came up. They spoke well, and they went through a process. They really did. And it was very moving and powerful. That superintendent did not follow through on what she advised this board she would do. She advised that they would study Lindner in depth, good, bad, and indifferent. And that's something we presented to this board in a report that would lay out so this board could determine, he did that well, maybe he did nothing well. He did that bad, great. Do we got to change it? Probably, and move forward. I will state this, that same superintendent then told us she would be at a board. The kids would present. That was great. I said, please let us know when. We were never invited. Let me repeat that to everyone watching on TV and everyone in this room. Never invited to that. I would have gladly went to the presentation. Superintendent, let's go back to her.
I would
Just
prefer
if I
not
could.
to go
No,
to talk about someone that's not here to present them.
She had every right to show up.
But I'm here.
And she had every right to speak denied her ceremony, so she's going to have a right to defend herself if she wants to come next time.
You asked me if you'd like to ask me some questions.
I'm going to get there.
Okay.
So, would you want this board to act without having all the information before it?
So, I can, tonight, print out newspaper articles for you, showing you the bad.
You're going to put me...
And I can find you, definitely, the good. And so, like I said...
I don't care about the good. Let's just go back.
Well,
no, hold on.
We shouldn't really care about
You mentioned something. You mentioned something. Just hold on.
Let me finish for a second, please. So, like I said, you can own land and found a bank and be rich, but still be a racist.
Oh,
I think being a racist...
Oh, this has nothing to do with race.
Yes,
hold on. You said publicly
the
expressed
whole
beliefs.
Thing
you found something that showed Paul Lindner's publicly expressed beliefs?
When you burn crosses in front of OLL.
And you have something verifying it?
Absolutely.
What do you have verifying crosses in OLL? You said you had publicly expressed beliefs of Paul Lindner. I've seen the same 5 articles 9 times. The conclusion's probably true. I have yet to have anyone give me a source, verifiable information, or what's going on.
So
That's her. Hold on, stop.
What are you saying, though? Like, what are you really saying?
What I'm saying is we need the information. Put before us the good, the bad, whatever about the guy. If there's any good or any bad, put it all there. So we can confirm the facts and we can all move forward.
But like
That's all we're asking
and
for.
I'll say this just one more time, and I don't want to say it again. If you Google, which everyone does, Paul Lindner's name, Malvern, New York, it will say with his picture that he was the Grand Wizard of the KKK newspaper article from the 20s. Isn't that enough evidence? Isn't that enough evidence?
No.
I'm sorry that it isn't for you, but it is for me.